Alright guys, let me talk about the elephant in the room. No, not you, George. Alright, so I know I haven't posted an actual video in about 2 weeks, and that's a long time when I said I would be posting weekly. So I'm sorry guys, but I'm going to be back on the grind dropping new videos weekly. Today I'm going to be teaching you all how to mix your vocals in Logic Pro X at a very basic level. If you're going to be excited for today's video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video. Today's shout out is right here. If you want to be shouted out in the next video, make sure to comment down below your favorite part. Alright guys, let's get into it. Alright guys, so we're over in Logic Pro X right now, and I'm basically just going to show you the easiest ways to mix your vocals at a pretty simple level that's very effective. So I've got a project over, and all you have to do to start a project is go File, New, and yeah, that's just it. First off, I'm here on, this is the vocals for my new Styles of Rap video, so I might get a little snippet today of that. So I'm just going to show you how I mix the vocals here. So let's take this Lil Nas X vocal. So for any vocal, you're gonna pick the line. So let's say here is the line for this part of the vocal, and these 3 bars right here is gonna be how you're gonna mix it and do different effects. So as you can see, I've done chroma and pitch correction, and I'll show you what each of those are, but those are probably the 2 most common effects that I use. So when you're first adding an effect, you're gonna click into this empty space, and there's all these effects to use from. Today, I'm just gonna show you a few. So let's go into chroma verb first. So once you open it, you're gonna have this screen, and it's got attack, size, density, decay, distance, dry, and wet. So usually I just stick to using the dry and the wet, and the dry is how just like plain your vocal is, like kind of like a podcast. That has to be 100%, but the wet kind of gives it like an echo. So if you turn it on, it will start at 50%, and it's pretty echoey. I usually pull it down to about 45 to 30. Depending on what the song is, and I think 36 worked really well for this vocal. Here's the vocal without chroma verb. Ride all day, we riding on the horse, here we go. And here's the vocal with chroma verb. Ride all day, we riding on the horse, here we go. Y'all gonna try. Next up is an important vocal for many artists to use, which is pitch correction, also known as auto-tune. So as we all know, we can't sing perfectly on it and hit every note, and so we're going to want a little pitch correction to kind of just fix up the little parts. You're going to click to the empty space and then new pitch correction and mono, but since I already have it, I'm just going to click on it. So when you open it, it's going to look a little complicated. There's going to be the response, the detune, the scale, and the root. That's all we're going to focus on. So it's going to start with major scale C. And all you're gonna do is put your response as 0, keep the detune how it is, and you're just gonna go through every letter and try and see which sounds like the most clean, which has the fewest like cracks, and which is kind of off, and you're gonna go through each one. So if none of them sound that great, go to natural minor and do the exact same thing. Go through every single one, listen to it until you find the right one. I've noticed they all have a similar pattern, and I usually end up with G or F, but it's different every time. If natural minor doesn't work, I usually try melodic or harmonic minor, and maybe major pentatonic or minor pentatonic. If none of those work, just keep trying different things, and you'll eventually find it. Pitch correction can add a lot to your song. Here's the vocal without pitch correction. Ride all day, we riding on the horse, here we go, y'all gonna try. And here's the vocal with pitch correction. Ride all day, we riding on the horse, here we go. Next up is pitch shifter. So I used this on a vocal over for my Travis Scott effect, and I'm going to show you that one. So if you're going to go to a new one, you're going to click here, open it, and then you're going to do pitch shifter mono. When you open pitch shifter, you have 3 things you're going to focus on: the semitones, the sense, and the mix. The semitones is how deep or how high it is. If you put it at full at 12, then it's going to sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. If you put it full at -12, then it's going to sound really deep. The sense is pretty simple. It's not really going to do too much. You don't really need to mess with it. I usually keep it 0. You can play around with it, but it's not going to do too much. Next up is the mix. So if you have a mix at 100%, then it's fully going to change your voice. If you have your mix at 10%, then you're only going to hear it like a little. The mix is basically how full the pitch shifter is into it. If you have it at 25%, which is a common one I use, then it has a bit of your regular voice and a bit of the pitch shifted voice. Pitch shift is pretty easy and a simple one to pick up on, and I definitely suggest using it. Next up, a great way to mix your vocals is the presets. If I'm going to use a preset on a vocal, I'm going to click the vocal I want, and I'm going to go to what looks like a little folder. Here we can see different presets for drums, performance patches, studio instruments, voice, and a bunch more. So you can play through all the effects, and they already have all the things on there, and all you have to do is click it. Some of my favorites are definitely the telephone vocal and the bright vocal. Here's what the telephone vocal sounds like.
Of course, riding on the horse, you can take the Porsche, but...
Well, that's about it for Logic Pro X mixing. Let's get into the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. I had so much fun making it, and I'm going to be making a bunch more content. Also, I'm working on new styles of rap videos, so if you have any styles you want to see in it, comment them down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Boo, ghost in the goose, scare you too. Spooky school, thought this too, I'm not a fool. Candy feast, yeah, this is cool.